What's up, fam? I'm back. I know, I took a break, and all I have for you is excuses.
Welcome to Garner Growth. Welcome to Garner Growth.
And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the convenience of excuses. And I hope that at the end of this episode, which I don't plan on it being too long, we will get you to a point like I got to where you can throw your excuses away. You realize that they're literally blocks that you put in front of yourself. And it's like you have this thing that seems so valid, right? But really, it's just so convenient for you to procrastinate. It's so convenient for you to have that excuse and to not do what you want to do and stay behind that wall of fear, stay behind that wall of whatever the block is, right? And you might not even know what that block is, but why waste time even trying to figure out what it is when you can just push yourself to act, right? Like, for instance, today, I wanted to do my nails before I did this video series, and I didn't. So I threw that excuse away. I need them to change the smoke detector battery so it doesn't have that doop. So I'm like, oh, I can't make a video until they fix that. Threw that away because y'all have heard the beeping before. You know what the hell it is. It's not a big deal. If you want to, put a comment in there about it, that's fine. I don't care. My hair, like, I curled this side with one wand, and then the wand snapped, like the fuse, it blew. So I blew out my curling wand after doing like a quarter of this. So then I had to do the rest of my hair with a flat iron. And you guys know doing curls with a flat iron is not as easy as with a wand, at least for me. So that's another excuse. Let's see, what else do I have? I mean, I work, could have been tired, but I'm just sick of them. And I think that's what the first part of not procrastinating and for you to get out of your own way is to get sick of staying where you are, getting sick and tired of your own excuses and realizing that you keep coming up with them. They're just everywhere. Like, there's an abundance of excuses, and as valid as they might seem at the time, there's a solution to whatever that block is. I wanted to grow my TikTok, right? It's been stuck on business mode, but I want it to be on private. It's been like 3 months, y'all, me going back and forth with TikTok because I can't change it myself like I should be able to. It's literally held like hostage in business mode. And I can't monetize it the same as if I were to have it on a personal account. And so I just didn't make content on it for the longest time. I focused my attention on solving that one problem, getting it to personal account from business. And I put a lot of energy into it. That same energy, I could have been making videos. I could have been building my audience, my awareness, just spreading, the work that I do, which is mindfulness, personal growth through mindfulness and healing through mindfulness. Like, same thing I've been doing for almost 10 years, right? I could have just kept doing that, but it was so convenient for me to have that excuse and to put my attention on it. In the same way that I put a lot of energy towards fixing that problem, which is not bad to try to fix a problem. And it felt good at the time because I felt like I was proactive. It gave me that false sense of accomplishment because I was focused on that. But at the end of the day, my goal was not to get my account mode changed to personal. The goal is to spread my message, spread content that is going to help us with our mental health, to help improve the mental fitness of my community. Right? And that's you. You're part of my community. So meanwhile, I'm talking to my friends. I'm having these really amazing, supportive, loving, vulnerable conversations on like a regular basis. And so then the work never stops. And the work never stops for me every day. But I'm keeping it to myself. And I'm feeling no, not that. I feel like I'm not serving my purpose fully because I'm containing all this wonderful information that I know you guys need and you want, and you even asked me for. I'm kind of like limiting it to this container which is a beautiful thing to take care of your own circle, but it could be helping thousands, millions of other people, right? Like, I haven't been doing healthcare and mindfulness for all these years to just keep it to myself. Like, ever since I was a kid, my passion has been to figure out how we work. Like, I'm very fascinated with the human body. And later on, going through my own healing journey, I realized I'm really fascinated with how the human mind works. And that's like the basis of everything, you know, how you think, how you manage your emotions, how you relate to the world around you, to other people, how you can feel connected. And we're in a crisis of connection where people don't know how to connect no more. You don't know how to connect with your environment, with each other, with your sense of self. And overall, there's a disconnection from God. I shared this before, like, for me, God is in us. We are an emanation of God. Like, I think of God like us, you know, infinite diamond, and every one of us is a facet of that diamond, that one diamond, experiencing our own unique life and consciousness, but it's all the same diamond. When you do any kind of healing journey, it could be a healing journey through sports, it could be a healing journey through writing a book, through going to church, through dancing, however you do it, meditation, mindfulness, whatever it is, you are seeking God, right? You're seeking a deeper sense of self, a higher sense of self that makes you feel whole. And so there's a lot of us out there, including you might feel fragmented, you might feel disconnected. And I feel that way. I think there's a part of me that is aware of that connection to the point where I actually don't feel the disconnection, because I know that we are all connected. But there is, like, you know, that sense of separateness and loneliness, no matter how many people you're around. Doing the work to just solidify your sense of self, that wholeness, and fill in yourself, you know, that's something that only you could do. That is just like, that's what gets me going, you know? And it's also what makes me feel good to share. And so at some point, I have to put aside my excuses and do what makes me happy, do what makes me fulfilled. And you have something, it might not be the same exact thing, but you have something that makes you feel fulfilled, makes you feel whole. And it probably is something that also makes you feel deeply connected to yourself, deeply connected to God. And when you're in that mode, when you're doing it, everything else is so small. Everything else is, like, you know, non-existent, or it's just like not a big deal. And when you're disconnected from that, little things blow up, you know, you're like, you're trigger happy. Like, little things can just feel like such a big stress for you. I find that when you really do things that you love and you seek connection and you get it, that is where you find that you're connected, you know? You are in that place where you are just that facet of that diamond shining. So this is my first video of the series, the first video I've done in like months. And it's going quite fine, you know? It's not as rusty as I thought. It's kind of relaxing. So the subject was excuses. Thank you for letting me go off on my rant. It was a worthy tangent. I think we all needed it. And I'm going to share some books with you that were really helpful for me throughout my journey. And I'm going to make another video about how to really use books and content together to really focus on one specific thing that is bothering you. One specific thing that is like a core wound that, you know, once you work on that, you repair that disconnection, then everything else kind of just falls into line. So we'll talk about that in another video. But excuses is something that is just, it seems valid. It feels comforting, actually, because it gives you like an out to not get out of your comfort zone. It gives you an out to not push past that threshold of I can't, or I'm scared to do this, which is all comfort zone, right? So get uncomfortable on purpose. Get uncomfortable on purpose. That is a way to go about it, a way to kind of change your mind about it. Yeah, it makes you uncomfortable to do this one thing, but do it on purpose. And I don't mean to be like illogical about it. Don't quit your job if you don't have a stable source of income. Don't, break up in your relationship if you haven't actually learned to communicate and express what the problem is. If it's something that's, fixable. If it's like abusive, you should definitely leave. But you know what I mean. And if you really think that you have a valid excuse, then what you can do is say, okay, acknowledge it. This is the reason why I feel like I can't do this. This is my block. This is my wall. All right. What are you going to do about it? How can you overcome that? There is a way to overcome it. There is a solution. And now your next task, your next focus, instead of keep focusing on this excuse and how that's blocking you, your next task is now to put your energy towards a solution. And that is empowering. That pushes your energy forward. So when we have an excuse, we have tension that builds up because you want to do something, right? And it's coming out of you. Your excuse kind of puts a container around it so it can't flow out of you. So now you have pressure building up inside of you. That pressure is going to come in the form of unhappiness, agitation, projecting, blaming others, blaming things that are out of your control, excuses, right? And so you're going to create this inner tension. And unless you find a way to release that block, right, to open up that container, then that tension is going to build and you're going to continue to be unhappy. You're going to continue to feel unfulfilled. One thing that has really come forward for me is time is precious. We don't have every day. I always say I'll do it tomorrow. Today's Monday. I don't know when you'll see this, but today's Monday, and Monday's always a good day to start things. I was going to do this tomorrow, and I was like, no, let's do it today. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is. Let's do it today. Just acknowledge that you have a block and say, all right, how are we going to get past this? And you expect yourself to be uncomfortable. Discomfort is something that I learned with working out, where you are uncomfortable. It's not like, oh, this feels so good to lift heavy stuff and sweat and, have a fast heart rate. Now I kind of like it. Kind of got into it. But when I first started, no, it was very uncomfortable. It hurts to walk, if you do a really intense day where you are breaking down your muscles. Before you build muscles and you have this nice body and gains and stuff, you go through pain. You tear down fibers and your body has to build them back up. That is part of every growth process, is some form of death, this discomfort, some form of, loss, and then you gain. It's like the cycle of life and everything, circle of life and everything that you do. There's going to be some letting go, some death, some loss, and then you're going to gain, and you're going to have a renewed sense of energy. You're going to have more strength in the place where you were weak before. And I kind of think of my mindfulness journey as mental fitness. And I relate to it in that way, where sometimes you just got to be repetitive. You're not going to see immediate results, but you got to be repetitive. I got to get this watch is now I have an Apple Watch. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm gadgeted up now, and it's a little bit distracting. I like it. I like the data that it gives me, and getting alerts and stuff from other people working out. But it's a bit distracting, and I took it off yesterday, and it was nice. So I think maybe I'll do weekends or maybe Sundays without my Apple Watch. Another tangent, but it goes into what I'm saying, being mindful, taking care of your mental health. So excuses. What is your excuse right now? Write it down. Write down what makes it valid. Why is this a legit excuse, a legit block of why you can't do what you want to do, what you feel like doing? Then next list, write down some pathways. You can even use arrows. So path A, B, C. You might have path A and B, right? You might even have just path A. But write down how can you maneuver around this excuse, maneuver around this block, and find a way to invalidate it. Yeah, right? So invalidate your own excuses. So you might find that you will go down this path of resolution, say path A, and another little excuse breaks off. And you're like, I can do this, this, and this, but okay. Now I want you to write that excuse down, circle it, and then you got to do that process again. Invalidate that excuse. How can you work around that part? Because there's definitely a way to work around it. Immediate results is not an excuse either. But I can't get that right now. That's not an excuse. What is the long-term plan? What is the, however long it takes, what does that look like? And you putting a visual and getting it into your mind, an idea of what that would look like, is not only going to break you out of that habit of blocking yourself, but this, because it's a habit. It's a certain way that a certain pattern that your mind is working in right now that you're going to undo with this little invalidation exercise. Because you'll realize you'll start going on this path of resolution, and then your mind wants to say, no, but there's another excuse, a little roadblock right here, and you catch it. And then you invalidate that. Or why is this a valid excuse, right? And you might come into it again. Okay, this is a solution from that. And you get another reason why you can't do it. And then you invalidate that. So you'll realize that it's just a habit of your mind, because this is what you've been doing for a minute, that you're just used to creating excuses. And you can change that. You can literally do the opposite and get your mind used to finding solutions. Be solution oriented. That's a mindset that I've gone in and out of. And I find that when I'm in the solution mindset, like when I was a nurse, you're trained to be solution oriented. You have to be, right? So being in that field bled into my personal life, and it helped me produce so many things. Like I learned to sew. I started a fashion line or scrub line. I learned to paint and make paper mache clay and art forms, and make all my Halloween costumes. Like I just did so much production of my creativity. It was just a flow. And I was still, and also work was making me stay in that flow of being solution oriented. So when I took a lull from that, and I wasn't working in that field and I wasn't solution oriented, I kind of got into that lazy entrepreneur mindset. I noticed in other areas of my life, I wasn't finding solutions, I was finding excuses. And so I had to dig my way out of that habit. And it's just practice, it's training. We can train ourselves to go in and out of habits. We're really malleable. We're capable of. So my camera ran hot and I had to stop that short. But excuses, we all have them. And it's up to you to decide that you are ready to let them go and stop allowing yourself to give yourself reasons to not do what you really want to do, because that internal pressure is going to build up because the energy wants to flow. Your creativity, your ideas, your sense of purpose, whatever it is, your passion, it wants to flow. So by you allowing these excuses to stop that flow of that energy, you're the one who's going to feel those repercussions. And it's better to acknowledge it and be like, I'm not happy. I don't feel good. I feel stressed. I feel depressed. I feel suppressed. Whatever it is, it's not somebody else doing it to you. It is you giving your power away to something. That situation, another person, whatever it is. But at any point, you can reclaim it. And all you got to do is make that decision. Just like you can decide to stop focusing on the negatives, on the things that you don't have, on the things that you wish didn't happen. And you can decide to focus on the positive. They both exist. You got options. But it's up to you to decide what you want to focus on. So you can keep giving your energy and attention to that excuse, and it'll grow, it'll get bigger, and it'll seem like it does have the power to stop what you want to do. Or you can take your attention away from that, which drains it of its power, and put your energy, put your power towards something that you do want. And that could be the smallest one action. Just like I put my power into getting this video out. This is video number 1 out of I don't know how many months. And it's because I wanted to push past those excuses that I've been recycling for months. they seem pretty valid at the time. And I have really wonderful friends. I do. I have like the best friends, the most supportive friends. And I love you guys. Thank you. And we talk about these things. We call ourselves out. We laugh about it. And because of that, I'm able to really face and acknowledge what I'm doing objectively without feeling bad about it and be like, what are you doing? That's not even a good excuse. Talking about valid. That's not even really that good. So you better not come on Roomba. I hate when that Roomba comes on randomly. Remember that practice I gave you? Put it in your journal. Make the pathway. Write down the excuse. Write down the reasons why you think that excuse is valid. What power it has in your life. That part alone might show you that it actually doesn't have no power. You're kind of like imagining it or giving it power that you could take back. And then you start a pathway that gives you an option around that, a resolution around that excuse, so that it's no longer blocking you. And then you might find that there's another excuse, right? So remember, if you need to watch that part again, it's just a habitual way of thinking that you can untrain and retrain your brain to be habitually thinking about solutions and moving forward. And it's like a way of thinking and coming up with ideas that's like an open door versus a way of thinking that closes a bunch of doors. Do you walk around slamming doors to your opportunities, or do you walk around opening doors to your opportunities? Right? And it's something that you can do for yourself. You can do both. But why would you want to do both? Open doors. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure you subscribe. Subscriptions have gone up, but not like reflective of the value that I'm offering. I mean, really, like, this is great content. I really think about what I'm going to say to you, and I really think about what you might need. I listen to your comments. And I actually think about myself and what I share with my friends. And most thing I talk about is coming from my conversations with my family and my friends. It does have a lot of value, and my aim is to really improve the mental fitness of my community so that we can just live fuller lives and feel connected. That's everything, is to feel connected. All right. Love you guys. Leave with love. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. Spread the growth. Spread the love.
Like, subscribe, share the growth.
If you are not ready for the day, it cannot always be night.